Would you come up as a character witness, sir?
If needed.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I give you this? That's all the.
No, you can't, and I'll explain why in a moment.
Oh, I didn't know it has all the.
All right. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, hold on. Okay, so you stay standing. Ms. Burnett and Mr. Brown, raise your right hands for me, please. Swear the testimony in this case be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You may be seated.
All these.
Okay, yeah, hold
Yes,
on.
sir.
I'll
Yes, sir.
come to you.
Okay.
Okay, so Ms. Burnett, all I have by way of a petition from you is a statement saying that Mr. Brown displays irrationality and his erratic, aggressive behaviors, and it's demonstrated by the way he treats his dog. So that's all I have. I have no idea what the basis of your request is.
Further on in the petition, page 9, there was a longer narrative section that happened. Have you got that section?
Yeah, I don't have any longer narrative section. I have a section that says that there are numerous protection orders regarding Mr. Brown, and he has a history of violence and crime, but that's all I have.
On page 9 of the petition for protection order, I describe, I'm sorry, it was section 16, where it says most recent incident. And I describe how he called me. I received a phone call from him, and he was very aggressive and intimidating and said he would kill me and my dog. And he said, I have a gun and I will use it. He made repeated references to his gun. He kept saying, don't think I won't use it, that he considered me a threat, so he has the right to defend himself and will come at me with a gun. And he got all my information. He read it out to me, my address, email, everything from Animal Services, because I had submitted a concern about the treatment of his dogs. So that was all in the petition. And I'm not sure why that didn't come through. It's on the paperwork.
Yeah. Look at the case here. There was clearly something not filed.
Okay. So I've been very anxious. I live alone. I'm in a rural area without immediate resources. So someone threatens me with a gun, and somebody with the rap sheet and the including assault, the process server that delivered this actually got attacked. He went for him, it banged his car and so on. And so I have a lot of concern about this, and I'm actually quite terrified.
Okay, so when did you report to Animal Services about the treatment of Mr. Brown's dogs or dog?
There was a photograph and videos that came to me. People in the community are afraid, but there's a photograph and videos that I submitted that demonstrated cruelty, and that was in about January, I think it was. And so I received the phone call in February and he'd got all my information from Animal Services, which they shouldn't have given without consulting me. But
okay, so it was in January you made the...
I think it was in January.
Okay.
As I recall.
When I open up the file, this is all I have.
Yeah, so are you looking at evidence?
Well, even if I open up that, this is all I have. There's nothing.
Here.
Nothing at all. And the petition doesn't have anything other than 2 lines.
Let me take a look. I'm gonna have to.
Okay. Yes. This is Mr. Brown's case is respondent.
let's ask a quick question, sir.
Yeah, what's the question?
Can I get this submitted? So
You're not going to be able to today
yes, sir.
because Ms. Burnett's not here in court. She's not going to have an opportunity to see it.
These are all public records.
Okay,
requests. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understand.
we'll work with that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, petition has really nothing in it. She said there was a long narrative portion, which is not in there at all. I'll close it out. So, and here's the petition. It has a blank page, and then where there is typically narrative. That's it.
I am not sure why that is showing
And
like that for you.
The court entered a temporary order, and I had a question mark on my calendar saying, why would the court do that when there's no information?
Right.
So there must have been information, but
That's what I'm showing on my end too, though. It's just that I don't know why there's an additional file there for you, but it's.
And I don't see anything in the dockets that says evidence was submitted, so I don't know that there's any evidence.
Yeah, let me take a look through the email too.
This is a speaker.
But I don't know what that photo is.
Okay. Take a look.
Probably have a copy. Sir, yes, sir.
I'm going to give you a shot. We're trying to figure some things out now.
Yes, sir. I was going to have that paper that she probably submitted in here.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the original petition that she submitted to us. Yeah, everything that has been sent to the meeting format,
Right. So how did Commissioner Wool enter an order? That's my question, because there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
Let's see who was in with you. Looks like Chase is there. So we don't have anything else.
What I'm seeing is a past closed case.
And why is it closed? What is the story there?
Because the
Did the court
and
enter
due to non-service. Was told to repetition on a later date if needed, is what it says.
Okay, did you find that petition and print it up? But that's. And I don't know if you were in here on the Nord and Thompson matter. I issued mutual orders. Mr. Nord had a hearing on a notice of hearing for the 3rd of July, so we need to cancel that because I went ahead and took care of it.
Do we need 2 orders for that?
It's already, no, because he got an order on that.
Okay.
So we can cancel the hearing.
Okay.
And there were no other documents in that other file? Okay, that's the same we currently have. All right, so Ms. Burnett, you're indicating that in January thereabouts, you had reported to Animal Services your concern about condition of Mr. Brown's dogs, and he's retaliated by threatening you and saying he's going to shoot you?
Yes, and that he's got my address. He had my phone number because it was on the phone. You know, and he has a history of violent outbursts. And I'm sorry for him, but you know, that is what it is. I'm terrified that he will suddenly decide to turn on me. He turned on the process server. He has other protection orders already in place. He has a rap sheet including assault.
So how close do the two of you reside?
About 2 miles apart.
Okay. And the condition of his animals came to your attention how?
Through people in the area that were concerned. And I could see it when I drive by.
Okay.
They were left out on the land and were poorly nourished and chained.
Okay. All right. And when was the last time you heard from Mr. Brown?
That call was because I've stayed away. I won't even go near that area of tonight.
So he called you on your cell phone?
Yes.
And how did he have your cell phone number?
He got that from Animal Services. He got
okay,
all my.
That was on the document?
Yeah.
And what was the date of the call? Do you recall?
February 14.
Okay. And then I see that you filed this back in March in response to that, and then you were not able to get service on Mr. Brown. And now you got service on Mr. Brown. He's here before the court. And that's why we're still talking now about an incident that happened in February. Is that right?
That's correct. We tried 3 times. And then I was abroad for May. So the case had to be dropped on the 3rd time, and I re-petitioned as soon as I got back.
Okay. All right. Okay.
In fact, the sheriff even called him to say they were trying to serve him, and he said he was no longer living in Thurston County, which is untrue.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, Mr. Brown, before we begin, I'll let you know that what Ms. Burnett said, that you said, that is threaten to kill her and shoot her, is a crime, and you could be charged with a crime. I don't know whether there's any criminal investigation or not. Doesn't sound like it currently, but I want you to know, I want you to be advised that And depending on what evidence is available, you could potentially be charged with a crime for that behavior. And you're under oath. And if you were charged with a crime, anything you say in this hearing could be used against you in any criminal hearing. So I want to make sure you understand that.
No, that's perfectly
And so you
fine.
have the right not to say anything at all in that regard.
No, I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Okay, so, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. She's on the oath too, right?
Yes, she is. Yes, she's,
That's good.
okay. But she hasn't said anything to me, which sounds like she's been charged as a risk of being charged with a crime.
No, it's just falsification.
Oh,
of
okay.
information.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, so you understand what I just said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Brown, let me just ask some questions here. You own some dogs or dog. I don't know whether it's a plural or single.
3 dogs, 2 half
dogs.
Newfies, and those 2 are accents. We're trying to have.
Okay, and there was animal services visited you in response to a complaint raised by Ms. Burnett. Is that accurate?
By multiple people, including Burnett, started with Diana Crimmon, the person who stole my dogs, and they actually decided to launch off after I received my dogs back. And it's been a joint effort from her and my neighbors, and there's actually been numerous reports done by officers and animal services proving that I am a qualified dog owner and they're up to great standards.
Okay,
Yes,
so animal services was called out. Ms. Burnett was part of the reason they were called out.
Yes.
And sounds like you were upset that they were called out because you believe that you're giving good care to your animals.
I wasn't upset, I was annoyed by this point.
Okay, so you're annoyed and you called Ms. Burnett. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what did you say to her when you called her?
I told her, I didn't tell her I was going to kill her. I said, I have the right to protect myself and my family, and I will protect myself by any means possible. So leave me alone. You are trespassing my property. I do not want you here anymore. I'm going to follow a restraining order, and this is harassment. My dogs were found by your property 2.5 miles away. 1 dog was found by our property 2.5 miles away, with the other 2 in the yard, which once I can explain the dogs and the temperament, you understand that's an impossibility for her to have gone 2.5 miles away. That's generally located by her house. And on the same day, they actually, the people, I don't have that in my report because I didn't, it's at my house, and they put it in the binder. They were actually at my house the day the dogs were out, which 1 dog was on a run inside the 6-foot kennel from one side and one side, and the collar was off. And the one that was, she's almost a year now, was out of the fence, which she can't, at that time, couldn't climb the fence or get out. But the 2 big dogs are still in the yard. But Jolene, the mama dog, was found by her property. And I called and said, leave me alone. This is harassment. Because by this point,
Okay, slow down. Let me interrupt you
yes,
with
sir.
some questions. So did you know Ms. Burnett at this time?
I've never seen her for a day in my life.
Okay, so how did you know it was by her property?
I looked up and I tried to see if my dog was actually by anybody's property that did this report. And it turns out that my dog was actually not too far from her property when she was picked up, because she took off on that property and probably tried to come back to my house. Somebody picked up. That's not proved, obviously, at all.
So you suspect Ms. Burnett picked up your dog, but you don't know that?
I have no proof on that. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
It's just general
So
location.
you called her and said that you intend to protect you and your family, and you do so by any means necessary. That was what you told her?
Yes, I did. I said I would never, I didn't say anything about going to her house or going out there. I said, basically, just leave me alone. That's it. I know you can't look at these letters, but there's 2 letters in here to my kid's mom. And another one was sent to her friend, basically saying I was a chimo, which is disgusting. And to protect your kids from me. And there's also this whole packet is all case reports from the police. This is nothing I've written. This is how many times they came to my house and harassed me. I just want to be left alone. I'm not gonna hurt anybody. I have a 10-year-old. I know that's not relevant. You know, they even put it on the house I built. I built a tiny house and they poured it on it and I had to move. But she was talking about living out Thurston County. No, I said I had to move into a trailer that I bought. And I have 2 trailers on the property and I have to move to my kid's mom's house and back there because I can't be there for an extended amount of time. You know, that's what she's talking about. And the violent report, I have nothing violent in my record. And if like I have nothing in my record past 11 years. If I do, I don't remember it. And she did a background check before she dated me. And there's nothing violent on there to prove it. You know, and for alcohol and drugs, I'll give you a hair sample. I've never done drugs and alcohol. I haven't drinking since I found I was going to be a dad. Like literally, I don't know if you can take that from alcohol, but literally, there's no alcohol in the past 11 years on September 28th. I've been sober.
Very good. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So actually, it wasn't really a challenge. It was kind of like, I'm going to be a dad. And I was like, I can't do that and be a dad. Some people can't. I can't. So put it down.
Yeah, that's smart.
Thank you.
Okay.
And if
So, okay,
just talking about
yeah.
in here in the back. And
Okay, so you can slow down a little bit.
yes, sir.
So I'm looking at criminal history and I don't see anything of violence there.
No drugs either. I don't do
okay.
that stuff. Oh, sorry.
I mean,
sir.
I see,
Sorry, sir.
you know,
Pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see
And
some of that.
drinking when I was a kid.
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So since you called Ms. Burnett in February and told her you're going to protect you and your family by any means necessary, have you reached out to her in any way?
No, not at all.
Have you gone to her
March too? Sorry to correct you, sir.
Have you gone to her property?
No. Why would I?
Okay, but the answer is no. You haven't.
Yes,
gone
sir.
to her.
Yes, sir. Sorry, my apologies.
Okay.
Information.
All right. Ms. Burnett,
Sorry.
do you have anything else you want to add?
Yes, that is not that for a start, I have nothing to do with the dog found. I didn't even know the dog was found near my property, and I'm not sure that that is true. I think that that's something fabricated, frankly, and I can tell you that he was talking about having a gun, that he would use it, that I shouldn't think that he wouldn't use it. He kept referring to the gun and saying he's coming for me and my dog, he said. I don't know if he knew I had a dog or not. That he got my information in order to warn me and tell me that he has a gun, he's not afraid to use it. The reference to the gun was repeated number of times. So, you know, I think he's known to have outbursts of anger. He attacked the vehicle of the process server, and I think the process server was going to put that in the report. I don't know. And that issue of the rap sheet, that was hearsay. That's for sure. I didn't have a test. I didn't look into it myself, but that was hearsay. But there's already protection order from a bar in Yelm, apparently, and hearsay. And I know another protection order, and there's a reason for these protection orders because
but yeah, I'm not going to decide. I'm not going to decide this case based on somebody else's protection order. So it's just going to be whether there's one warranted in this case.
Yes. So the issue of warning me, that he has a gun and that he's not afraid to use it and that he will come to my property. And he was very aggressive and yelling and shouting. It was something that just shook me to the core. And as I say, I live alone. I don't have close neighbors. And I'm terrified of this man coming near my property. He knows my address now. He shouldn't know it, but he does. And I have nothing against him personally, except that he has threatened me with a gun. And he's known to have a violent and sudden temper, and then he calms down and he's all nice and sets up a different picture. So.
Okay. And just so Mr. Brown knows, I am looking at the proof of service, which is in the file of this case, and the Mr. Hottailing, who did the service, says that Mr. Brown slammed his gate 4 times against my truck, attempted to pull off or break my sideboards on my truck while leaving the complaint. So that's what Mr. Hottailing said in his sworn statement on the proof of service. I'm just telling you that's what he said. You don't.
Oh, no. I'm going to disagree with what you're saying. I'm just going to ask, can you pull up the police report that was response to when you actually talked to him that verified what he said was actually false? Because the structure of the gate and where he said, and the police actually had numerous incidents with this individual. I don't know if you're able to pull that up.
I don't have a proof.
But actually, then there the police said like it's obvious what he's saying is false, you know, and he recommended to me that I follow a restraining order against them. And I don't know if you're able to verify. You can contact any of these police officers or any of the animal services people. But all this has honestly has nothing to do with her. She's using the court system right now to further the gains of Diana Krim and the person who stole my dogs. That's been against me because she's charged with first-degree dog theft, and she is a founder of Second Chance Dogs. This is a rather big case, and she's been accused of stealing dogs in the past, and she's using other people. And Sandra Burnett is a mutual friend, I believe, of Diana Krim and Ido Avery, who said they have no acknowledgement of each other. And when I told her, I said, don't come my property, I had no idea she was friends with Ido. I thought she was friends just with Diana Krim. I was like, just leave me alone. You have nothing to do here. That's it. That's like the main thing.
Was she at your property?
She comes through, there's a shared driveway, and I was wondering if I can restraining order against her from my property, not me, just my property. It goes through my property to Ido Avery. And she stops there, she takes pictures, and I can show you all the pictures. But I know I can't, but there's like the dogs. But let me back up real quick to how the whole thing started, please. It started, sorry, story time. My dog was 6.5 weeks. My puppies are 6.5 weeks. They were inside the house. It became too much for me to have them inside the house. So I made a temporary shelter for them outside. It was supposed to be temporary. It was a 20-foot squared area with black cloth around it. I have pictures of it. And my dog chain got tangled up. I didn't know what was going to happen. I got home and this person, Diana Crimmon and Louis Armstrong, were at my property taking pictures of the dogs. And I was like shaking because my dog was on a 3-foot chain and like couldn't really get to the water very well. And like, so I put the next day I'm a dog on a 40-foot chain, and I started to build a 6x6 kennel, which was already always on the process of doing, and these puppies, I said, were accidents. I'm not a puppy mill. I didn't want to have puppies. I just got home late. I made a structure. I messed up on it. And this person takes pictures of it and blasts it all through the internet and then ends up stealing my dogs. And she actually put herself there at the time of the dog theft in this paper from the police.
So we're not going to talk about Miss Prim. She's
sorry. And then as soon as I got my dogs back, I'm starting to get report after report after report against me. I think like several reports, including her. It's just like, he's this horrible person, he's abusing his dogs, he's doing this. Every time the officer comes out, animal service comes out, they prove that they were lying, that it wasn't there, and the mannerism of the dogs and everything. I mean, the last report was 4 days ago. They're still coming out. They said my dog was like not even moving or hardly moving, and like the animal service was like, hey, I'm here again, and like she saw Jolene, CJ, and Jinx. They all ran up to her. They're like, yeah, they're perfectly healthy. They're good dogs, and it's been an ongoing thing. And I've been constantly harassed by these people. And
don't say these people right now. The only issue is as to Ms. Burnett.
I've been
restrict your comments to that.
Harassed, and by one of these people has been this lady, Sandra Burnett, who I actually don't think I've ever seen a day in my life before today. It's like. And this is largely to make it so when that case goes to court, it pushes that away. She's using the court to further gain that has nothing to do with her. And honestly, I've never contacted her.
Is she a party in the other court case you're talking about?
She's just one of the people that's been sent
out. No,
out.
I have nothing to do with that court case.
Ms. Burnett, I'll get back to you.
She's just one of the main sent out there to try to.
But she's not a named party in that case. No, her name is not.
No, sir. So I guess what I'm saying is technically hearsay with that. It's just that her reports happened the same time everybody else reports happened as soon as my dog came back. The only reason I messaged her because my dogs were found right by her property. And also you gotta say I'm 2.5 miles away from my dog. She would have went to the neighbor's house. My dog won't go to him. And CJ would never, ever leave Jolene alone. That dog's obsessed with her. I tell you, if I take just CJ, as soon as he does, go right to the gate. He's all he cares about his mom. There's no way he wasn't separate. So yes, I was upset, and I called her. And I was, I guess I was a little bit, mad would be a correct terminology, yes. But I didn't tell her I was going to go to a property. And I was basically just alone. I just want to be left alone. You know, I have to have cameras up on my property 24/7 now. And if one of them dies, I have to go home. I'm the one who's worried all the time. You know, yes, I'm strong, I'm young, but there have been people who, not they, excuse me, there have been people who come to my property at 2 o'clock at night. Last month, somebody tried to steal my dad's truck. They stole the
Okay, let's
papers
just
out of
stick
the
to what
airport.
you're,
Sorry,
I don't want to bring everybody else into it. It's just Ms. Burnett.
apologies, miss. I guess it's in my frame, it's like all this is just one case together, and you're right, it's not. And the only reason I called her is just to tell her to please leave me alone. I didn't use the word please, obviously. I was just basically saying, don't come near my property. You have no reason, no right to walk on my property. Yes, she had an easement to go to the neighbors, but she wasn't using the easement for that. She was using the easement to get out, take pictures, record things, and send them in, which has nothing to do with the easement at all. And she went off the 10-foot, I believe, of the gravel pathway as well. And a character witness, you can ask if I even yelled or been upset or anything. You know, I mean, got some other people on there tell you, like, I don't know, you know, it's not what I do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Can I
So-
address that, Your Honor?
Ms. Burnett, just sit tight for a moment here.
Okay.
I'll just sort of summarize the facts that I'll find in this case, which is that there was a complaint about Mr. Brown's treatment of his dogs. Animal Services responded. It sounds like you have the dogs back.
Yes, sir. Now, plenty of reports of what they said.
Okay, he has the dogs back. And Ms. Burnett was somebody who called Animal Services by her own testimony, and apparently was on some of the documents that Animal Services provided, which is how Mr. Brown got her phone number. He made a call to her, which I think he's recognizing today he should not have done. That's not appropriate. And he said he was upset when he did, and he basically told her to back off, and he was going to do whatever he needed to do to protect himself. Ms. Burnett makes clear that he referred to his ownership of firearms numerous times in that conversation. He hasn't admitted that, but he does admit that he was angry when he made that call. He says he's not been out to her property. And Ms. Burnett seems to indicate that that is the case, that even though he may have said he was going to come there, he's not been there. But given the tenor of that conversation and the inappropriate nature of the fact that Mr. Brown was calling somebody who had made a complaint to Animal Services about his dog, I am going to enter a protection order, which says that Mr. Brown, you're to have no contact with Ms. Burnett at all.
Can this be a two-way order,
no,
please?
No, it can't. You're not to go within 1,000 feet of her residence. And Ms. Burnett, if you want this order renewed, you'll have to come back to court and ask for it to be renewed. It's in effect for 1 year from today's date.
Is there a way to contest this?
Can I just say that I have never been off the easement, ever. I didn't take those photographs, and that the cops didn't say the guy was making it up. The cops say to the guy that there was no proof, and they couldn't lay a charge because there was no proof.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not giving that much great weight either way. I'm just going to go based on the evidence that I just summarized.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I'm trying to get a job in Seattle as a nanny at $35 an hour. This is going to destroy my opportunity to have that. Can you please look at the case and see that I have never contacted or responded to this person since that day?
Yeah, and I just said that.
Yes,
I've recognized that has said those are the facts of the case. I understand that maybe this has some impact on you going forward, but the case I have here is Ms. Burnett's request for a protection order. I find that it is appropriate that I enter it, and I'm going to enter it.
Okay.
And it will be in effect for 1 year from today's date. So no contact at all with Ms. Burnett in any fashion. Don't go within 1,000 feet of her property.
Can she just not come to my property? That's the only thing I care about.
Yeah, I'm not entering any order, but she's heard you say that that you don't want her on your property. You don't have the ability to restrict her from going near your property. She says she doesn't even do that. And she says she's not the one who took any photos. But there is no order as to Ms. Burnett. So I'd just be
I
clear
have
about
proof
that.
that she took more pictures. It's in the report that she made. Can I come and make a, even though she has restraining order on me, can I get a restraining order against her in a future case?
If you-
with that?
If you think it's
Because this
warranted, you
is-
can file something.
This is
Okay,
literally
all right.
all public
If you think
information
that you need a protection order against Ms. Burnett, you can,
against my
ask the court
physical
for it.
property.
at this point, I'm not going to grant it. There's
Okay,
no
but
basis
I'm
for it.
kind of curious though, because there was one phone call and there has no been, haven't responded, I haven't talked to her. Honestly, I didn't even know what she looked like
Okay.
at all. And this is just put something on my record. It's a blemish. I have absolutely nothing on my record
Well,
for the past
hold on.
11 years. I have, since I became a dad, I have fully have.
Yeah, it does. I
nothing on
acknowledge
there.
that. You do have you have a protection order currently as to another party. As to an Angelica Wilson.
Oh, her.
So there's
Okay.
an active protection order in effect.
Yeah, she
And-
actually wanted to try to drop that from a mutual party. She didn't
Okay, but
contact-
it's still active. And then you also have one with Ms. Crimmon.
Wait, I
So-
don't have one with her.
Yeah, you do. There is an
No,
active order.
I was never
Crimmon.
served.
You have an active order. I'm just looking on it, or I'm right now.
I wasn't served in Mrs. Crimmon. I got a paper,
Okay.
a vanilla envelope.
I'm
Oh,
just-
I'm not arguing with you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to argue with you.
Okay,
at
just
all.
know that I'm looking at an active order that's in effect until the 17th of November of 2024, telling you to have no contact with Diana Crimmy. So,
I did not
There-
know that.
okay,
that
just so you
is the
know.
old one.
so there
Yeah,
is an order.
I had
okay.
no idea. This puts a blemish in my record, though.
No, well, you already have two no contact orders on there, so
Yeah,
I'm not
third
sure a
one
third
ain't
is
gonna
going to
help it out.
significantly impact that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. All right.
So, is there a way for me to contest this? in a
Well, that's
future
what we've
court?
been doing. We had the hearing here, and I've
Well,
made
I
that
wasn't
decision.
able to, I'm not trying to.
Okay.
I just, okay, 1 second, sir, please.
If you want to appeal it, you can get appeal paperwork at the front counter and they'll give you appeal, but you'll have to pay the appellate fees to get before Superior Court and appeal it.
Superior Court?
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
yeah, and when cause I didn't know I couldn't just give you this paperwork, because I literally have a mountain of paperwork of them
Well,
taking pictures and
All right,
harassing me.
okay, let me make clear. That's not the issue for the court. The court, I decided it based on the phone call you acknowledged you made to Ms. Burnett. That's the basis for me entering this order. And
But that wasn't- I
the
don't
threatening
feel-
nature of that phone call, I thought was serious enough that I would enter the order. That's what it was based on. You acknowledged making that call. Ms. Burnett said you made the call. She said you haven't come to her property. I'm not taking, those are the facts upon which I based my decision today, just so you know.
But I
Okay,
disagree with
all
that.
right.
That
I know
doesn't
you
seem
disagree.
like a good.
All right, thank you.
Because,
Okay, no,
if you
Mr.
look
Brown,
at it,
Mr.
though,
Brown,
I
we're done.
have a, I have
Okay,
a
you want me
huge
to walk
paperwork.
off the bench here so
Um,
that you'll stop
it's like-
talking?
I was,
Okay.
I just, no, I'm going, sir. I know, I'm the
Okay,
last
all right.
person.
Thank you.
And I can't fight this. I was trying to figure out how to get this because the person who stole my dog is still at large.
Okay, I can't do it.
Oh, I got one more thing. Has anybody ever told you you look like Timothy Oliphant's dad? It's a good compliment. I'll appeal this in at the higher court and press restrict orders against that person. You have a good day, miss, okay? You know, they gave it to me.